Peace and blessings, everybody. This is Karev. Welcome back to Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. This is episode number 2, and we're sitting with an MC from New York that moved to Atlanta, is making his name down there. Before we get into this interview, please hit the like and share buttons, subscribe, and notification bell, for we want you to stay current on all releases and everything that we're bringing forth to you from the hip hop culture, the state of New Jersey, and the heritage of hip hop. So before we get into this, once again, thank you for tuning in, and let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, Jon Hannz. Welcome to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast, where we have a chance to sit down and talk to people that's not from New Jersey that give to the hip hop culture in ways that are imaginable, unimaginable, and special. Please introduce yourself and let's make history tonight.
Yo, what up? I'm Jon Hannz, man. Atlanta bound, New York born and bred. What's good?
I'm happy to get to talk to you because after hearing your music, I've been wanting to reach out to you and see what it is that you feel and think about hip hop. You say you're from New York and you migrated to Atlanta. How has hip hop became a major part of your life and made you want to do it?
You know what, bro? Like I say, being born and raised in New York, I was around EPMD. I was around a lot of people in Long Island and everything, and that was something that was very important to me. And I watched a lot of the people grow up and live their thug life and everything. And so hip hop, I come from the old school hip hop, Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One, and Slick Rick and all of them. And they was always like my forefathers. Like when you say the forefathers, you think of the presidents, but my forefathers was hip hop. My forefathers was KRS-One, Slick Rick, Big Daddy Kane, etc.
Yeah, when you come from an era in which you can remember those days of hip hop and not to take away from today's era, some people don't remember those days or could recognize the feel of those days. A lot of the generous love for hip hop is actually missing because it's more technological than organic. Do you miss the organicness of hip hop? And what is organic in hip hop to you today?
Oh man, absolutely. Like I look at I deal with hip hop on every level. I respect the newcomers. But one thing I understand, when you look at rock music and everything like that, they still respect David Bowie. They still respect U2. They still respect all the old people from the back in the day. When it comes to rock music, they respect that. But the problem with hip hop sometimes is that they don't respect the gods. They don't respect the people that made hip hop prominent for us. Like they don't care about Run DMC anymore. They don't care about LL Cool J no more. Like they should, but they don't. And I do. And I would never leave that alone, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be me. So in 2019, I'm a dope MC, but it comes from them. It comes from the people that grew hip hop to be a beautiful place. Like hip hop is so disrespected, even though it's the biggest music, it's the biggest music genre in the world. When you look it up, Google it. Hip hop is the biggest genre in the world, but they all want to hear the nonsense. They don't want to remember when everybody was fighting the power. They don't remember Public Enemy. They don't remember Slick Rick when he treated her like a prostitute. They don't remember children's stories. They don't remember everything that gave us the notion to tell stories, the notion to give us to spit lyrics, the Coogee raps. Like they don't remember, and I do, and I cherish it. Like me personally, bro, I cherish it. It's my life. Like I grew up in New York. I cherish it.
I respect what you say. And you know what? There's a lot of people who do actually want to discover what that feel is. As a person who interacts with a lot of the youth, especially in the hip hop genre, I will tell you this. A lot of the false accusations we put on them is that they don't want it, but a lot of them do. And it's just that people have not carried on tradition and been greedy. You know what I'm saying? And you saying that you live it, I applaud you, because it does come across in your music. And I want to talk about some of that as well. But when I hear people say, F the little niggas, they disrespectful, and the youth say, Well, y'all rapped about drugs. Our parents took drugs, and we're the drug babies that have come back to haunt you. How does that make you feel when you think about the landscape of hip hop today from where it's come from?
It's funny that you say that because I am a drug baby. I come from the era of the 90s and the 80s when our parents were doing a lot of things, just trying to raise us and trying to do whatever they can for our life, and that's always cool. I talk to my pops and I tell him what I feel about what he was doing at the time, and he's receptive to how I feel, and he wants to be in a new age. So the new era, I love it, and I respect when they say y'all don't respect us, so we don't respect you. However, us in the young era, we gotta say, let's dig into our history. Let's see where we come from, because at the end of the day, if you're rapping, you're not respected in the rest of the world. So we have to come together. Hip hop is a genre to where there's so many different types of hip hop, but we all have to come together to say, hey, bro, this is what we do, and we have to find our history in hip hop to say why we are who we are today. I tell my stories and everything in my music about hip hop and everything, but I listen to a lot of newcomers. I talk to a lot of young dudes just like you do. I talk to a lot of them, and one thing I try to tell them is like, yo, bro, regardless of what they did, they gave us everything. And we got to take that and be better. The goal is to always be better. The goal is to always to take a mountain and make it a molehill, and that's what I do, but that's what I also preach in my music, and I preach it when I talk to the young boys, the 18, 19, 16, 17-year-old dudes. I tell them, yeah, bro, let's grow. Don't be mad at the older heads. Be glad at the older heads. So hip hop now, I love it, and I always will, but I always will teach how to look at the past and how to embrace the past and be better than what they gave us, because we can't be last.
That's dope, and that's real conscience because it's the elders that protect the legacy. It's the peers that prolong and teach the legacy, and it's the babies that give the legacy hope and to pass it on to new generations. We all are 360 degrees of intelligence, faith, knowledge, and society. And unfortunately, mainstream hip hop likes to preach separation and individualness. How do you think hip hop has suffered in the technological age where people can sit at a dinner table and not talk to each other and be on the phone? And yet in hip hop, the phone, the follower, and the like is the main driving force in the movement of marketing, promotion, and even the theft of streaming today.
Yo, we always got to keep up with the times. Like, time has changed so many times, and you and I both had been through the times, and we've seen so many things. If I'm at the dinner table with my kids and my wife, and we sitting down and we chilling, my kids understand that the phone is not important. The technology is not important. They do it every day, all day. Sometimes we still got to understand, and it's up to us, the elders, to say, hey, bro, I'm with you, but let's stop for a second. How was your day? What'd you do? How's everything going? To know that we still got to mingle with each other. I talk to my daughter on Instagram. I talk to my daughter on Facebook. When she's right in the house with me, she may be upstairs, I may be downstairs, but we talk like if I got something to say to her, she got something to say to me, we text each other. As an adult, I may be like, yo, come downstairs. But I understand the technology age, so I got to get with the times as being a parent. And so I'll text her back and be like, yo, what's good? And so we can have so many conversations, but we have to find the medium. We have to be able to say, yo, yeah, I'll text you. Yeah, I'll talk to you on social media. However, I also want to talk to you in real life. Like, I don't want to just, when I see you, never to talk because we talked on social media. No, we talk in person. and we talk through social media because it's a medium. We got to understand the middle. And so with marketing and everything like that, marketing right now, social media is the best way to do it, and we do it because we're engulfed with the times and the ages. It can be 2035 and we can never talk. But the problem is we have to learn how to talk. We have to still know how to write in script. We got to know how to write in English, and we still got to write on paper. We still got to be able to take the old times and embrace. The thing that bothers me so much is that we don't we act like we sit. I remember when I was growing up and my parents was like, old times are changing and we not doing what we supposed to do. No, what we're supposed to do is embrace the old heads and embrace the young heads. We have to work together and say, hey, this is the new age, I'm with it, but I want to teach you the old way. So like my daughter, my kids, they understand that in their technology age, we still work together because I'm going to teach you something that's a lost art. In hip hop, I will teach you the lost art and I will learn the new art. We have to understand that we're all in this together and we have to be on each other's page to conquer. When we're on the same page, we conquer. If we're against each other, we lose. The simple strategy of war, Sun Tzu, divide and conquer. We can't divide or we'll lose. We got to stay together and get with them and let them get with us. And then we respect them and they respect us and we move further.
Agreed. Bridging the gap is something that's going to make hip hop greater and going to make it an asset to the people and to the world and to the generations and legacies that are made in the long run. Now, you taking your knowledge of being from New York down to Atlanta. How was that transition? And what do you see the differences in the appreciation of hip hop maybe from the New York state of mind to the Atlanta Southern hospitality state of mind?
You know, Atlanta's been very good to me. Like, I didn't come to Atlanta for music. I came to Atlanta for other reasons. But now that I'm here with the music, I don't mingle with the whole Atlanta music scene because, I'm not into certain things. I'm not like the world gets a little bit crazy. So me, I don't get all involved. But one thing I can say is that everybody I meet, everybody I mingle with, everybody I talk to, it's receptive. Like there's younger dudes that's like, yo, why ain't you do it over a trap beat or whatever? And they respect what I do. And one thing about Atlanta is it's a lot of love. It's a lot of love in Atlanta. Like people respect what you do and they just want you to respect what they do. So the transition wasn't easy automatically, but I had to stand my ground on who I was and what I was doing. Like in the world in Atlanta, you gotta be like you gotta know who you are and what you're doing. If you don't, you will fail. If you don't want to do what everybody's doing, you gotta have some type of rhyme or reason on what you do. Like in Atlanta, people respect Jon Hannz off of Jon Hannz is just a hip hop guy. I am hip hop to the core. I preach it, I teach it, I tell it. That is what it is. Now, yeah, if I wanted to make a big surge and wanted to be the next person, I would have to alter, I would have to change and do what they're doing. The new times. I don't do that. I do me and I try to keep hip hop alive. And the beautiful thing about Atlanta is everybody respects that. Like they just want to know where you're coming from and who you are. Like you can come to Atlanta today and go to the biggest cities in Atlanta. You can go to College Park. You can go to Atlanta City. You can go to so many places and just be yourself. But if you come to Atlanta trying to be somebody you're not, they're going to call you out. And they're going to be like, yo, you're not who you say you are. So you just Atlanta, the beautiful thing about Atlanta is just be you. That's it. Just be yourself, and you'll find your own area, and you'll find your own thing. Everybody like Atlanta is a city like Philly is the city of brotherly love, but Atlanta is the city of brotherly love because I ain't do nothing but get love here in Atlanta. Like I fool with people and everything, and it's like finding your niche is where the love is at, and so Atlanta's very good to me, man, and I would never change what I'm doing because Atlanta's very good to me, and it's a very I hate to always be like it's a black cultured world because I'm all about diversity, but it's a very black cultured world to where you can be who you want to be and you're gonna be accepted and people are gonna respect who you are. So I like that.
See, I'm from New Jersey. So in New Jersey, we already have our own mental state when it comes to being accepted and doing what you do. Because just like New York, a lot of people want to play one role and hear hip hop one way, and then they only accept that. I was told by an MC that comes from Jersey when she moved down south, she learned the art of cooperation, where up north taught the art of competition. Do you feel that way? And is that fair to say in your aspect or your experience with touching both cultures, northern and southern style of hip hop society in general?
Yo, it's funny that you asked me that because I'm like being from New York, it's always competition. It's always being a dopest rapper. It's always being a dopest artist. It's always being just dope and coming up with things that can't nobody come up with. And I still do that to this day because I got the New York in me. I got the Jersey thing. I still have that. But in where I'm at right now, it's not about that. It's about, yo, that's a dope song. Hey, that's dope. Because they understand the diversity of hip hop. When New York was like they was running everything, and you couldn't rap unless you was from New York. You couldn't rap unless you was from up north, because they set the tone. And then time changed, and it was Outkast and Atlanta and everything, and it was like, yeah, we get it. Then it was West Coast, and yeah, we get it. But then it was, yo, what's after that? Hip hop has emerged so much to where no matter where you come from, it doesn't matter. Like where I'm at, it doesn't matter where you spit. Nipsey Hussle, all of them. It doesn't matter. It matters if you spit dope lyrics. Like I'm lyrical, and I deal with a lot of lyrical things. And so it's like we don't there's no reason to talk anymore about where you're from. There's no and I learned that in Atlanta. And this is what Atlanta has taught me. This is what Wyman has taught me. It's not about where you're from anymore. Oh, he can only spit if he's from New York. Nah, look at T.I. Dope artist, dope spitter. His dad was from New York. Another story. Um, Kendrick Lamar, West Coast, dope spitter. Ice Cube, all of them, dope spitters. It's about how you can convey hip hop. I don't care where you're from. Like personally, I don't care. Like a dope artist can come from Arizona. If he's dope, he's dope. Hip hop is hip hop. The beautiful thing about hip hop that we do not respect, which we need to learn to respect more, is that hip hop is hip hop. I don't care where you're at, where you're from. You can come from Alaska. Bro, if you can spit, you can spit. Eminem did that. Coming from Detroit, the boy could spit. And all we cared about is that he spit. Like he was nasty. And all it's about when it comes to hip hop, it's about I don't care where you're from. I will be like, oh wow, you from Arizona? Damn, they got spitters in Arizona? Like You're a spitter. If you can rhyme, you can rhyme. If you can make good music, you can make good music. That's it at the end of the day. And that's what the culture now says. When you listen to all these new people, all these dudes that really spit. Drake is from Canada, but that boy is nasty. It's not about where you from, it's where you at. Ain't that what they say? Um, Dope music is dope music all day, every day. Hip hop is a worldwide renowned standpoint. And if you're spitting, you're spitting. If you got good music, you got good music. I don't care if you from New Zealand. If you can spit, if you got good music, you got good music, and that's it. And hip hop has grown from when LL was like, I don't care if you call it noise. Everybody called hip hop noise. Everybody was like, hip hop isn't gonna last. Yo, bro, I love the fact that hip hop has grown so far. It is world renowned. It is the best. I said it before. Google it. It's the most listened to music in the world. Hip hop, no matter where it comes from, it's hip hop. And it's rap. And it's dope. And if it's dope, it's dope. If it's not, it's not. No matter what.
That's peace because, yes, the internet and technology has taken away the regionality of hip hop. And I think that's also hurt the culture as well as help it. It's helped because now you can be heard being from anywhere. You don't have to be isolated because you don't fit a mold. But it hurt because now we are so flooded with it that people miss good music. And speaking of good music, you have an album series, Love, Life, Commitments, I think it's called, part one, two, and three, where you actually talk about real life. And that's the part of hip hop that right now is getting praised because a lot of the 90s babies and 80s babies are the elders in the hip hop genre who's grown to appreciate the grown man lyric. So why don't you talk about your project and let us know about what do you offer and bring to the game with all the vast knowledge and experiences that you have experienced in life and in hip hop.
It's Love, Life, and Commitments. Part one, part two, part three. And the new album that's out right now that people are really loving, it's A.T.L.I.G. A.T.L.I.G. And that's an acronym for After the Love Is Gone. After the Love and Commitments is no more. The idea behind all of it is Love, Life, and Commitments Part 1 was a rough, hard album, but I gave everything I could on that album to talk about my life. I'm always very honest in my music. And it's like my diary. You know, my music is my diary. It's crazy. But I'm honest enough because hip hop have gave me that. And I talked about on the first album about a lot of things. Love, Life, and Commitments Part 2. Love, Life, and Commitments Part 2 was the Book of James. Love, Life, and Commitments Part 2 was the Book of James. And it was still telling more of my life. Love, Life, and Commitments Part 3. Warrior, what was the name of that album? Love, Life, and Commitments Part 3, Silent Wars. It was definitely a silent war. It was about everything I was going through in life at that time, and I didn't want to expose nobody or anything, but I talked my story. Love Life Part 3 was something different. It was just, it's still Love, Life, and Commitments. And then I canceled it, and then I did After the Love Is Gone, which is everybody loves it right now. It's really moving right now, really heavy. I got a couple videos and everything out right now, but it's like After the Love Is Gone is about Love, Life, and Commitments is over. I'm getting ready to drop actually next month the Love, Life, and Commitments Chronicles, and that's the best songs from all those albums in one album. And it's like a greatest hits. I'm just giving you that. And if you listen to part one, part two, or part three, if you ever been involved with that, you're gonna be like, oh my God, that's dope music. If you never heard it. And so after A Love Is Gone is like after everything was said and done. And so right now, the best album I've ever had out is After the Love Is Gone, A.T.L.I.G. And so I still speak hip hop, but I was more engulfed with talking about my life and me. Like when you hear the stories I talk, there's no lies, there's no fabrication. It's me and what I did and what I've been through and where I'm at now. And so, of course, I'm working on so many bodies of work right now. I'm working on so much music right now. But that album right there, everybody has to hear A.T.L.I.G. Like, everybody has to hear A.T.L.I.G. And that stands for After the Love Is Gone, because there's no love no more. I've been burnt. I've been through a lot of things. And, it's that album says it all. But when you listen to all my music, know that I'm telling the truth, and these are my stories and my life. I got a book that's probably gonna come out in another year and a half, but it's the Love Life and Commitments Chronicles as well. So it's you gotta listen to it, bro.
Yeah, I definitely listen to a lot of your music. That new one, After the Love Is Gone, I have not heard yet, so I'll make sure I jump on that. But see, you telling life stories is the key to what makes hip hop real. Exposing the pain of the inner city, the pain of the individual, and more so than likely, emotional depth is what makes a great MC a great one or a timeless person. What has bringing your life into your music done for you personally, and how do you think it has made music overall in the landscape of the culture better as well when people expose themselves or show emotional depth as an MC instead of just somebody who just rhymes?
Yo, everybody always I got rap homies, I got hip hop homies that I speak to, and sometimes they be like when I put out After the Love Is Gone, they would like I had people reach out to me and they was like, yo, you're being too honest. But they've been doing that since the Love Life and Commitments Part 1. They love the music, but they're like, you're telling too much of your truth. Like that could be a bad thing. And I'm like, I don't really care. Like, if I can be honest with you in my music and you hear it, I'm doing so many things. And one thing I'm doing, I'm being honest with you. Another thing I'm doing, I'm relaying it in a hip hop way. Another thing I'm doing is teaching how to be able to tell your life and be honest. Not talk about things you never been through. Not talking about things you never did. Like a lot of rappers always talking about things they never did, but they talking about them. How can you talk about things you never been through? How can you talk about things you never done? And so I did that with the Love Life and Commitment series. After the Love Is Gone, it's like I'm summing it all up, and it's like there's no lies, there's no fabrication, as I said before. So I don't have a million people following. But like you said, you haven't listened to the album. I implore you to go listen to After the Love Is Gone. Amazing album. Like somebody told me last week, it was the best album in the world. It's the best album for this year. Not even a quarter. They was like, yo, this is the best album of the year. I'm not big. I'm not Drake. I'm not J. Cole or nobody. I'm just a regular hip hop guy, but they love the album. So what I did in the music was like I continue to give them me. I continue to do what I do, which I will always do. Like I said, I got another album. I got so many bodies of work that's gonna be for the next 8 months to a year. You're gonna hear me. I'm gonna be there. You gotta catch up. Like people gotta catch up. Like tomatoes squashed on the ground. It's like everybody gotta catch up now. because now people are listening to me. Now people are listening to my music and they're like, "Well, what are you talking about? What happened? What? Hold up, what did I miss?" And then they go back and listen to Love Life Part One, Part Two, Part Three, and now they're getting A.T.L.I.G. and they're like, "I love A.T.L.I.G., but what did I miss?" And so people are going back and listening to everything, which I say you should as well, because it's just I did what I wanted to do, but I also did what I needed to do, and it's amazing to me. I love it. Like people listen to after after the love is gone, and it's only has been out for maybe a month right now, but they're listening to that album more than listening to anything I've ever done. And so it's like that's just an amazing album, not from my standpoint, from what everybody else is telling me. Like I think everything I do is dope, which is not a reality. It's just I like what I do, and I think that because I be honest or because I tell stories, I think I'm supposed to be great in the hip hop world. But the hip hop world don't listen. Cause the hip hop world ain't the hip hop world we come from, so I don't have older heads listening to my music. I got the new people listening to my music, the younger people, the people that would rather hear Slim Thug or whatever. You know, they would love to hear that more than they hear my music. But when they hear my music, they're like, wow. And then they got to go back and listen. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have no feelings towards that. I'm not mad at all. I'm just glad they're listening. Like that's all I care about because I deliver a message. I deliver hip hop lyrics. I deliver rhyme. I deliver rhyme schemes. I deliver like there's so many songs like you gotta listen to Home. You gotta listen to the title album A.T.L.I.G. You gotta listen to Michael Jackson. Like man, you definitely gotta listen to Michael Jackson. Like all those songs on the new album. If you haven't heard it, you're late. And I really appreciate when we done with this interview, go back and listen to the A.T.L.I.G. album and let me know what you think. Like, I'm not mad if people be like, "Oh, the whole album is garbage." Problem is, I get hit up every day and people are like, they love it, they love it, they love it, they love it, and that's what the promotion is like. That's what the marketing is like right now. And I appreciate you having me on this interview right now, man, because I'm just doing what I think is good music, what I think, and nobody can agree with me. I'm fine. But what I'm doing is hip hop all day, and I'm never gonna stop giving people the hip hop classic where we come from.
I for sure will listen to this project. We just had our Heritage Hip Hop Independent Awards ceremony, and I mean, if I had it in time, as much as you're promoting it right now, it would have definitely been listened to. And hopefully, as time goes on, you'll send me some music, and or I'll get a direct, and then I'll be able to buy and purchase the albums and support you. And after I'll make you a promise, after this podcast is finished, I will be listening to it for the next couple of days. You know what I'm saying? But it's funny that you brought up and put the answers the way you have, because I want to ask you something. Us at Heritage Hip Hop, we pride ourselves not in being lovers of hip hop, but lovers of our people, lovers of our culture, and wanting to see our people win. We do not talk about streaming because I think streaming takes away from the advantage of the artist. We do not talk about loving hip hop and twerking and stuff like that. Though we may like it as men, that's not what hip hop culture is. And in today's culture, people are so fast to dub something a classic and not let it live. I want to ask you a two-part question that kind of revolves around the same theory. And the theory is classic music and timeless music are different things. As an artist, what does it mean to you to be heard and to be listened to rather than either or? And when listened to or heard, what does it mean to have classic music separated from timeless music, in your own opinion?
Yo, Timeless music is a song that resonates with everybody. And like, I remember growing up listening to people like, and I don't know how y'all feel about it, but R. Kelly. R. Kelly did, like, I love Born into the 90s and everything he did, but a lot of R. Kelly songs from, I don't know the year he came out or whatever, but I listen to R. Kelly songs like faithfully, constantly. Like, I'm a big R. Kelly fan. Now, regardless of what he does in the media or what's going on in his life, I love R. Kelly because of his music, and I will listen to that until I'm dead in the grave. Like, forever, I will listen to it because that's timeless classic music. The Beatles, uh, Aerosmith, the song he got when he was singing to his daughter, like, that's timeless music. Jay Z, Hard Knock Life, Jay Z, so many songs are timeless. The difference between is like Jay Z put together bodies of work to where no matter what era, no matter where you're at, you can listen to them, and that what means timeless music. And what I try to do is, well, I don't really try to do it. I just when I do music to where you can relate to it in your soul. So when I relate to music in my soul, I can think about where I was at, where I was when I heard that song. And that song is 20 years, 30 years old. And I'm like, I still love this song. Like, you think of all the classic music that you listen to, and it's timeless music. Timeless music means no matter when it is, when I hear that song, I love it. SWV. I get so weak at the knees. Like, chicks listen to that and they feel like they just heard it for the first time. Like, the Escape, all of them, like Keith Sweat. Like, you hear their music and it's not like, oh, that's just another song. You don't want your songs to be just another song. And mind you, on my albums, there's songs that's not timeless. There's songs that's just, yeah, I like that. But a song like Negro, a song like After the Love Is Gone, a song like Home, it's just a timeless song. So classics, awards, and everything isn't about making a dope song for 3 months or for 2 months or for a couple days. It can be a dope song, but what people don't understand in the industry that we're living in right now, if timeless music is what makes you the bread, timeless music isn't something that's done on purpose. Like, I don't think nobody ever went in the studio and said, you know what, when I'm 50, 60, 70 years old, everybody gonna listen to it. No, they just made a song. The problem is, what a good thing is, it was just a good freaking song, and it lasts the test of times. So when I do music, I don't think about if everybody's gonna care about it tomorrow. I do what I do. And I think a lot of, especially rappers like LL Cool J, Mama Said Knock You Out, we still listen to it to this day. Like, we'll pull it up, we'll listen to his XM radio and all this other stuff, and we like LL Cool J. I Need Love. Like, those are timeless music. That's things that'll last forever. Ice Cube, No Vaseline. That's stuff that'll last forever. It was a diss track, but we love it, and we will listen to it. Like, that is so old, but I sit with my wife and I'm listening to hip hop and I'm talking rap music, and that's something I pull up. It's timeless music is timeless music. It's not about I go into the studio or anybody goes into the studio and says, you know what, they're gonna be listening to this 50 years from now. No. Ain't No Mountain High Enough, Diana Ross, Marvin Gaye, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, all of them. What's the drink? I'm easy like Sunday. The Commodores. We don't we don't sit and say, like, they don't go in the studio and say they're gonna love this 50 years from now. It just happens to be that song. That's like, I gotta listen to it all the time. On Sunday morning, sometimes I'm going to work or whatever I'm doing. I'm easy like Sunday morning. Like, those are classics. The Beatles made so many classics. It's about making good music. Every time you get an opportunity to make a good song, you go and do your best. And that's all you can do. You can't sit up and be like, oh, this is going to be a classic 50 years from now. I don't think nobody has ever said that. I don't think no great artist in history has ever said, I'm getting ready to make a classic. It, Cash rules everything around me. Wu-Tang, none of them. They never thought that. They never thought they would be successful. They never thought that they just did what they did. And I think that's the whole idea. Do what you do, and if you make good music, make a good song. If it lasts the test of times, you need an award for that. You need an award to know that that song that you made when you made it and whatever you were going through in your life at that time, whatever you were doing, makes you classic. Not because you want to be classic. Nobody goes in the studio and says, I'm making classic music. They just try. I got a song called I Try. All I do is try. I just do what I do. And I may never have classic music. People may never hear me. Michael Jackson, all of them, they never said, I'm going to make a song that's going to last 100 years. But I guarantee you, you'll go back and you'll listen to Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, uh, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, the Commodores. None of them ever thought it. They just were doing what they were doing for that time. However, we still listen to that music to this day. I don't know if you do, but I do. And it's a classic to me. Classics. Little Kim, Notorious Big, Tupac, of everything and all things. We listen to their music now and be like, damn, that's a dope song. Their music lasts the test of times. And so you don't know whether you're going to have a song that lasts the test of time. Like, nobody knows. You don't know until the time comes and it survived the test of time. So classic music is amazing, but nobody knows when they're making it.
Time is the ultimate test where an artist will see, do they have the staying power and do they have what it takes to last in the genre? I want to ask you this then. The most important question I always ask an artist is this. One day you're going to die. One day your legacy is what's going to define you. Gilly the Kid said that a man's life is measured by the number of cars in his funeral procession. For the more people was there, the more effect he had on life. I ask you, when everything's bottled up, buried underwater, whatever, and the new life comes and people are digging up the archives of the 2000s and it's the year 3000, 5000, and they find your music, what legacy did you leave on the world with your music that made the world better because you existed? How did you affect the world that you made it so much better, or affected it in such a way that is different or better because you were an artist and your music existed?
I gave them truth. I gave them facts. I gave them information and motivation on how to get up and try. How to get up and do something different in your life rather than doing what the stigma of the world says that we got to do. You know, I gave them information, and one thing they can say about Jon Hannz at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, James was a man of motivation. James was a man that was resilient. James was the man that taught everybody to get up and go. When it's hard, when it's tough, when it's easy, when roadblocks stand against you, don't even see that stuff. Just keep moving. I'm a person of motivation. And that's what I gave the world, and I give it to my children. And my children gonna give it to their children. And so on and so on and so on. So when the years pass, they gonna understand Jon Hannz when they hear them words over tracks. All they gonna hear is progression. All they gonna hear is growth. All they gonna hear is never quit.
Well, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you and to expose your truth to everybody in Heritage Hip Hop. I was introduced to your music through Time to Grind Radio. Shout out to Big Seven. And from then, I have been listening to you. I did not know there's a new album out, so I cannot wait to dive into it. And man, that's what it's all about. Getting to hear new voices and new stories. So please take the time to plug yourself, plug your projects, plug your music, plug your movement, and let everybody know from this side of life who you are and what you got coming out.
For everybody that don't know, I am Jon Hannz, aka Hip Hop. You can follow me at Instagram on at JON_HANNZ. You can catch me on Twitter, same way, at JON_HANNZ. I don't do Facebook much, but if you look for me on Facebook, it's Facebook/JHANNZ1. On Reverb Nation, you can find me the same way, JHANNZ1. The new album that's out now that's circulating is called A.T.L.I.G. That's Jon Hannz, After the Love Is Gone. You can find it on every platform, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, you name it, I'm there. The new project, The Love, Life, and Commitments Chronicles, is getting ready to drop in October. I have a compilation album coming first of the year. And if you look in the past, you see the album with me and Loyal Life Stress is called WAY, WAY, acronym for We Are Not You. I appreciate you. Put me on your platform, bro. I appreciate y'all reaching out to me, man. I really do, man. I like what you're doing. Continue to keep up the amazing work. And, I'm going to continue to be me. Yes, definitely. Time of Grind always shows me love. Big Seven, that's my homie. Actually, I was just speaking to him. Y'all enjoy your day, man. I really appreciate it.
All right, everyone. So thank you for tuning in to our podcast, episode number 2 with the incredible artist Jon Hannz. Go get that new album right now, A.T.L.I.G, After the Love Is Gone. And make sure you subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop YouTube. You can follow us on heritagehiphop.com. We have apparel and nice hats and shirts and things available through the website and on storefrontier.com/heritage hip hop. Shout out to Transparent Credit Repair, Fatty's Place, Wildfire Marketing, and everybody that supports the Heritage Hip Hop movement. Once again, we thank you. We say peace, and may the Most High bless you. We out.